Welcome everyone to a Kuta worksheet tutorial. We are doing special right triangles in this one. Super important topic in geometry, really will help you with SAT and ACT questions, but let me get into the principles of it and why it's useful, okay? So let's break it down to, this is a little bit of notes portion. I'm gonna try to do this quickly. I have other videos on this as well if you wanna watch them, but basically, we have two different types. We have the 45, 45, 90 triangle. That represents the angle measures, okay? So this is 45, 45, and then 90. These are both right triangles. And notice that the hypotenuse is always opposite the 90-degree angle, okay? That's important. Now, there's a relationship between the hypotenuse and the legs. The reason why I put leg is I want to differentiate it between the 30, 60, 90. Okay, that has different, I don't want to say short, okay, but the legs are equal in the 45, 45, 90, it's an isosceles triangle. So let's say that the leg has a value of x, okay, so the leg has a value of x. The hypotenuse would then have a value of 2 times, oops, sorry, that's wrong. It would be, my mistake. It would be x times radical 2. Okay, so that would be the hypotenuse. Anytime you have a hypotenuse in a 45, 45, 90 triangle, it's going to be x times radical 2. The side length, and I should write this. This is the best way to do it. The hypotenuse is going to be equal to the leg times radical 2. So by the same token, if you're looking for the leg, you take the hypotenuse and you divide by radical 2. And you're going to get the leg, okay? So that's a way to go back and forth between the two. Now, let's talk about the 30, 60, 90 triangle, okay? Oh, first off, and second off, I wanted to say this is important because you only need one of the sides, either the hypotenuse or a leg, okay, or the other leg, and you can find all the other sides in the triangle, whereas a Pythagorean theorem, you need at least 2 sides. So 30, 60, 90 is a little bit different. As the name suggests, we have a 60-degree angle. I should have started with 30. Oh, well, we have a 30-degree angle, and then we have a 90-degree angle. Again, the 90-degree angle points to hypotenuse, but this time we have 2 other degree angles. We have the medium one, which is the middle one, 60. It's between 30 and 90. And then we have 30, which, of course, points to the shortest side. So the shortest side corresponds to the smallest angle, okay? Now, what's the relationship between these? Well, if we have the short side is really kind of the key to this problem, so I'm going to put a star even because it's the key to this problem, the short side. If we have a value of, let's say, what color should I use? We'll use this pink. If I have a value of x for the short side, then the hypotenuse is going to be, let me use the same model. It's going to be 2 times x. It's double the short side. And then for the medium side, we're going to take x, and then simply multiply it by radical 3. Okay, let's proceed. So let's go ahead and write the relationship real quick. So we have hypotenuse, and that is equal to 2 times the short. And then we have the medium, which is equal to the short. I'm going to write short first, and then I'm going to write radical 3 here. The short times radical 3. So radical 3, radical 2 times 2, okay? And you can solve for the short side. For example, the short would be equal to the hypotenuse divided by 2, okay? And the short would be equal to the medium divided by radical 3. So that's a way to, this is like the building blocks of everything you need, okay? But it's useful because you only need one side in the triangle to solve for everything. Let's go ahead and show you what we're talking about with this first one. First thing you got to recognize is it's a 30, 60, 90, okay? That means we have 2 legs here that are equal. And the reason why I know it's, did I say 30, 60, 90? I meant 45, 45, 90, okay? 2 45s. That means these legs are equal. And that means our hypotenuse, this blue side, the A, or the hypotenuse, is going to be equal to the leg times radical 2. Well, we know what the leg is. The leg is 2 radical 2, and then we need to multiply that by radical 2 still. So when we multiply this, we multiply the radicals underneath, 2 times radical 2 times 2. I'm just showing you all the steps so that we can go faster later. 2 times 2, A equals 4. So we know this is equal to 4. Now, we know B is the same thing. Sorry, I should have done this one first. Same value, so it's 2 radical 2 for that one. Okay, let's do another one with 45, 45, 90. We have our hypotenuse this time, and we're asked to find the 2 legs. They're the same, so whatever x is, it's also going to be equal to y. We already know that the hypotenuse divided by radical 2 is going to be equal to the leg. Okay, remember, if we multiply by radical 2, to go in reverse, we divide by radical 2. The leg times radical 2 equals the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse divided by radical 2 equals the leg. So we do 4 divided by radical 2 is equal to leg. You need to know how to rationalize denominators for this to work. So we're going to do, that was my attempt at a square root. Square root of 2, and then I do square root of 2 over square root of 2. Gives me 4 radical 2 over 2. And then I'm going to cancel, reduce, I should say. And I get 2 radical 2 as my final answer. Okay, so that was a little quick, but that is the process. Okay, I want to skip down to 30, 60, 90. These are all 45, 45, 90 ones. I'm going to skip down to number 7 so you can see one of these ones. All right, the important thing for this is labeling the sides. So I'm going to use purple. This is clearly our hypotenuse. This is the 60-degree angle, so this is going to be our medium side, opposite that, and this is going to be 30-degree angles, because that's the only thing left with the triangle sum theorem of 180. So that's our short side. So we know our hypotenuse is equal to 2 times the short side. Remember, I wrote a star, drew a star next to the short side. You always want to find that one first, because we can find the short and hypotenuse from the hypotenuse and the medium side from the short side. So I know that the hypotenuse is 16, so I can go ahead and plug that in. 16 equals 2 times the short side, so just solve for the short side, divide by 2. So the 8 equals the short side. Now you can do this just from visually once you get good at this, but always do that first. Now we know the medium side is the short side times the square root of 3. So we already know the short side is 8 times square root of 3, and that's going to be our medium side. And that's it. 8 radical 3 is going to be our medium side. And you just leave it in radical form unless it has a radical in the denominator. Okay, this time, make sure we label our parts here. Here's the hypotenuse because it's opposite the 90 degrees. Here's our short side, and here's our medium side right here. Okay, to get our hypotenuse from the short side, hypotenuse equals 2 times the short side. So this is going to be 2 times 2, which is 4. So that is going to be 4. U is equal to 4. And to get our medium side, we do 2 times, sorry, not 2. We do the radical 3 times the short side, or short side times radical 3. So we get 2 times radical 3, or 2 radical 3, for the short side. And that's going to be our answer. So we have our 2 answers there. Okay, so that's 30, 60, 90. Let's do maybe 2 more 30, 60, 90s. Okay, this time, okay, this is, again, the 30-degree side. This is the medium, so this is the short, because it's opposite 30 degrees. That's my bell that I'm almost out of time. Okay, so then I have medium, and I'm given the short side, so that's easy. I multiply by 2 to get the hypotenuse. So I know my hypotenuse is equal to 16, and then I know I multiply by radical 3 to get my medium side. So it's 8 radical 3 for my medium side. So there we go, U and V, solved. I really want one that has the 60-degree angle, but I'm looking for it. Here I have my hypotenuse. So to get of course, you want to get the short side first, opposite 30 degrees. So I divide by 2. 8 radical 5 divided by 2 gives me 4 radical 5. So that's my short side. And then I have to multiply this by radical 3 to get the medium side, which is opposite the 60-degree angle. So I get 4 radical 5 times radical 3. That's going to be 4 radical 15. There's my final answer. I'm looking for one that's... finally. Here we have 60. So this is our medium side. Let me change color. I'm bored of this color already. So this is our medium side. This is going to be our short side because it's opposite the... Again, labeling is the most important part. And then we have our hypotenuse here. To go from medium to short, if we go from short to medium by multiplying by radical 3... Okay, we multiply by radical 3 to go to the medium. From the short side, we do the opposite, divide by radical 3 to get to the short side. Okay, so do 5 radical 3 over radical 3, and that's going to be equal to my short side. I cross that out because I see it in the top and bottom, so I have y equals 5, and then I simply just double it to get my hypotenuse. So we have 5 times 2, I get 10 for my hypotenuse. Let me do another 45, 45, 90 just for kicks. So here we have this one. We know the legs are going to be the same. Our rule here is we go from the hypotenuse to the leg by dividing by radical 2 for the leg. So we know our hypotenuse is 8 radical 2 over radical 2 is what we're dividing by to get our leg. The legs cancel out and we're left with 8, and we're left with 8. So 45, 45, 90 is kind of like the easy one. 30, 60, 90. Definitely have to label all 3 sides. Not as obvious. Make sure you take your time with these. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want me to do more problems like this, let me know in the comment section, and I hope to see you next time on Wes Explains Best.